Hello everyone. Today is the last class of the year 2025 for nutrition, and this whole month we have been looking at mindful eating, what it is, and the different ways by which you can be mindful in every situation. And now, leading up to the holidays, let's see how you can extrapolate it even to your holiday eating, right? So, that's the idea today. So, welcome everyone. We'll curiously explore what holiday harmony means with regard to mindful eating and explore some curious experiments for the holiday season so that you can feel the best after your holiday meal. What are the highlights for our session today? We will curiously explore the importance of savoring food and what mindful eating is. We'll discuss some practical steps, 2 steps for mindful eating during the holidays, some simple holiday eating hacks, a few common holiday challenges, and maybe some curious solutions there, some time saving strategies if you are on the run for getting together your holiday meals, how to feel best at any of those parties, and how to balance wellness during the holidays. So that's the highlight. Now, savoring food, I think, is one of the very special gifts that we as human beings have on this face of earth. I don't believe any other living creature has this unique ability to be able to connect with food in the way that we human beings are able to. So, if you can flash back to your childhood days, or even see how your young kids, like before they get to school, or even your grandkids enjoy food, they are there in the present moment. They are experiencing the texture of the food, they are experiencing the flavor of the food, they are in tune with their hunger, they are in tune with their satiety, because I'm sure you know, if you give a toddler a spoon extra than what he needs, he will do like this, he'll turn his face, right? But what happens is, over the period of time, we as adults, we get busy and we often lose the connection, that specific connection to food, because of, lots of reasons. And one of the key benefits of mindful eating is to be able to improve behaviors related to eating. Now, what happens to adults as we age? Of course, we get used to the hectic lifestyles, and that becomes more habitual, right? We all have been, I can vouch for number of times when I have been through drive-thrus, and maybe I have grabbed meals without even thinking and missing that chance to enjoy meals. Today was an example. I had a full clinic day. I had the unique opportunity to be able to see my divas this morning as part of the nutrition class, and also today. So it has been a hectic day. I did have my lunch box, but I caught myself kind of, eating my food really quickly before my next patient kind of comes in. So, there are times when we do get into that habitual mindless eating, but I think the silver lining there is I caught myself doing it. So that's like I was able to reorient. So over the years, I feel like we have lost the art of savoring and enjoying our food, because it truly is an art, because the way I enjoy food is different from how one of our divas enjoy food, or one of the ways by which, our dear Rosie enjoys food. So it's really an art, right? So, what is mindfulness and how can it connect to eating? Mindfulness meaning being in the present moment, really enjoying everything here. For example, when I am here in this room, I am looking at the windows, the beautiful landscape outside, really enjoying the presence of each of my divas here. So that's like being here 100%. I am not distracted by my phone, it's on silent, and I I am here 100% with you guys, delivering this content, and at the same time, being in tune to where you are, right? So how does that connect to the concept of mindful eating? It's about being able to be aware of the positive connections, positive opportunities that you get to have through food selection and preparation. In one of the weeks, we invested around a class, full class, to see how you can set up your kitchen zones, starting from your refrigerator to your freezer to your pantry to your countertop, how you can choose and select foods to keep food that is nourishing in every possible way, nourishing to your physical body and also to your to your mental self. How can you really set up your environment so that you are selecting and enjoying foods that are in alignment with your values and goals, and always respecting that inner wisdom that you have with regard to food choice and food enjoyment, right? So some of the core principles, coming back again, it's about bringing awareness to the properties of food, how colorful it is, how aromatic it is, how tasty it is, how crunchy it is. So bringing awareness to the properties of the food through the process of preparing foods and also consumption, right? Selecting specific foods that you feel are enjoyable and nutritious for you. And in the upcoming weeks, right, at least in the next 7 days, I'm sure you will be presented with food that you really want to enjoy. So when you want to enjoy those goodies, non-judgmentally give yourself the permission to enjoy the foods, because you know what, 365 minus 7 days, you get to build your habits. The 7 days is not going to, make or break anything there. So give yourself that permission to non-judgmentally enjoy those treats, right? After you have had a balanced meal, recognizing and honoring your physical hunger and satiety is also key. And as I mentioned before, use your inner wisdom, which will be very close to your values, to guide your eating decisions, right? So what are some of the practical steps for mindful eating? The key one is, this hunger scale, and how can you use it before you get to the table and before you take your first bite. Assess your hunger. Where are you in that hunger scale? And in this handout today, you have that first block here where that hunger scale is presented to you in a colorful way. You don't want to be in the extremes, right? You don't want to get to a meal feeling very, 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 very hungry, because you know what, when you are at 1, you are not able to think clearly, because this part of your brain is not getting the energy it needs to be able to think clearly, right? At the same time, you don't want to, after the meal, you don't want to feel at 10 where you feel like, hey, can somebody pick me up? I'm feeling blah. You don't want to feel that too. So it's very, very it's good for your body and for your mind and soul to be in this middle ground, right? What does that mean? You start nourishing yourself when you start to feel hungry. Don't wait till you become like very, very hungry, hangry or irritable. You want to eat still till you feel like that 6-ish, 7-ish, where, if somebody asks, do you want to eat an apple? You should be able to say no, right? So that's the place where you want to stop after a meal, right? So being in the middle ground really, really helps you. And how do you be there during the holidays? Do not skip your meals. Do you have a holiday lunch or a dinner?
Oh, it's mid-afternoon.
Mid-afternoon.
Like 1 or 2.
1 or 2. So it's the usual time that you will have a lunch, right? I had some of my divas say they'll have like later lunch, right? And some tend to not have that morning breakfast in the hopes of eating a bigger meal. But when you skip your breakfast and when you don't have anything to, nourish yourself, you will end up being at that table in that 1. And that's where those candies, the desserts will call your name the first. It's not your problem. It's because this part of your brain is wanting that quick energy, and that quick energy actually comes from those sugar laden, sugar rich foods basically, right? So never skip your meal this upcoming holidays. Please concentrate on consistent timing of intake. And as I said before, it's achieved by having meals and snacks at consistent times throughout the day, even if it's a holiday meal that happens later in the day. Okay. Another mindful tool that we discussed was slowing down. How do you slow down? Take some deep breaths before you even take that first bite. Even if you're going to go through a drive-through and grab that meal, instead of immediately putting it inside your mouth, take 3 breaths, slow yourself down, and then start eating. Another way to slow down is to really appreciate the visual represent how the food is presented in front of you. So look at the spread and maybe discuss with your friends, hey, look at this, how colorful it is. Or look at the salad, it's green, it has some pomegranates, it has some pumpkin seeds. Discuss about it. That way you're actually appreciating the visual cues that that particular spread is giving you. Enjoy the aroma, right? Really kind of inhaling and fully appreciating the aroma, and then mindfully chewing. Slow down and take 2 or 3 more chews before you swallow your food. So these are some other ways to really savor your meal. And as I said, slowing down, putting your fork between bites is another way. And then, as I said before, eating slowly and stopping at around 6 and 7 on the fullness scale. And then really putting some thought, how do I want to feel after the meal, right? And that would help you guide in making those better choices, right? So let's look at, how can we extend it during the holidays? What do you think? Is holidays more about food, or is it about the connection? It is about the tradition? What do you think?
Oh, it's family.
It is family. It is. It is. Absolutely. So it's the time to focus on, that connection, feeling grateful for that, that community, that connection that you have, and for that holiday experience. And food is just enhancing that experience, right? So having some laughter with your family and really, using that opportunity to strengthen your bonds, your connections, and then looking at specific traditions that you may have. Any traditions that you have for your holidays that you want to share? No?
Because family is split now to different parts of the country. So
I see.
it's more difficult.
More difficult,
Yeah.
right? So if I can reflect
If I
on...
go back 20, 30 years.
Yeah, go ahead. What is the tradition that you remember?
Well, we would always have Christmas on Christmas Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and we would exchange our gifts
Mm-hmm.
and go to church the next, either that evening
Mhm.
later
Mhm.
or at midnight mass
Mhm.
or the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
Mom always had dinner.
Yes.
We always had dinner.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we
Yeah.
sat around and visited and
Yeah.
watched the younger kids and
Right. Yeah. So it was more of a generational connection there, right? That's what happens. And then one of the holiday nostalgic traditions that I remember is those days there were no phones. So I remember my dad having, we are a family of 4, but we had extended family come in. So there will be, I think, 8 glasses, and there will be a small a piece of paper with something that is written on it, and it will be inside each of the glass. So we each, it's usually like a, what is that? The chair, the musical chair. So there is something that will go on, and then you go around and you pick up a glass, and there will be something that could be funny. But I remember there is usually one paper or one glass that is, it's hidden, and there will be one glass under which there is a 100 rupee mean equivalent to, at those days, maybe equivalent to $100 here. So we would all think that we will get that glass, but it's only one person who gets it. So there will be a lot of laughters there and all of that. So it's all about that connection, and food is just that icing on the cake, basically, right? So when you approach your holiday meals, approach it with mindfulness, make your food choices intentional, and then focusing on the quality over the quantity, right? So if you are someone, I would pick a little bit of the foods that I really want to enjoy, right? Rather than taking a bigger portion of it. And I would always fill my plate first with veggies, and then the protein, and then the mashed potatoes, or whatever I want to enjoy as part of the tradition, and then finally take my treats that I want to enjoy. And always check in with your hunger and fullness cues. Making satisfying choices, doing swaps sometimes works, right? But as I mentioned, do you really want to give up that mashed potato, which is very, very special during the holidays? No. Maybe take a smaller portion of it, right? Enjoy your non-starchy vegetables and proteins, and then finally enjoy that mashed potatoes. And as I said, smaller portions, savor smaller portions of your favorite dishes, and always balance the rich foods with the light dishes, right? Some of the, as I mentioned, the rich foods are usually creamy. There will be a lot of cream in it, heavy cream. There will be added sugar in it. Of course, those are rich foods, and they are very tied to the season. So you don't have to say no to it, but first, make sure that you satisfy your hunger with nourishing food, and then you balance them with the rich foods. Some of the smart holiday swaps could be swapping the mashed potato for mashed cauliflower. Or one of the divas this morning was mentioning about, can I mix quarter of mashed cauliflower with my mashed potatoes? Of course, that's the starting point, right? You can replace, pardon my spelling here, creamy dips with Greek yogurt based dips. You can replace any sugary drinks with sparkling water with fruit. If a particular event has alcohol, for us cancer survivors, I would recommend going with your own non-alcoholic drinks so that you can enjoy it. If your tradition calls for any white bread stuffing, you can choose to have whole grain in place of that. And definitely there will be fried appetizers. You could choose to have baked or air fried options. Air fryer is not at all a luxury these days. It's available for very less price. It's probably there in every household. So you can actually Google and find the air fryer recipe for the same recipe that you would make by frying, right? So those are some ideas for you to experiment with. And carrying that forward, some simple holiday experiments, as I said before, focusing more on the memories and traditions, and really looking at the food as, icing on the cake. Celebrate the traditions that you have, and then enjoying those connections, the moments with your loved ones, more than the food, basically, right? Letting go of perfection. I think that's what I have been trying to communicate to. There is no need to be perfect with regard to your eating in the holidays. Release the eating pressure and then focus on enjoying your food. Enjoying means being in the middle ground, right? So that's the idea there. And then, as I mentioned before, not thinking about those 7 days, making your health, go down or anything like that. What are you doing for those 365 minus 7 days? Setting your mindset for those long-term habits rather than looking at those 7 days of perfection is a way to really enjoy these holiday times. So look at how you are going to spend your 2026 intentions, attention towards your health, and enjoy the nutritious foods for the most part. However, when those occasional indulgences, which are very seasonal, comes into the picture, make sure that you have smaller portions. Okay, so that's the idea there. Some of the common holiday challenges that I have been hearing is time constraints, right? It feels like there is only very less time with having to decorate, with having to buy gifts, with having to wrap gifts and whatnot. So when that happens, it's very easy to ignore your body's hunger and fullness cues because you're so busy, and that tends to, overeating for a later meal. So it's very important to bring in that mindfulness in this time. So what are some of the time saving strategies for holiday meals? There are so many semi prepped methods out there. So go to the store, you have rotisserie chicken available, you have already roasted turkey available. So look for those semi-made meals in some way. You have pre-chopped produce available, so take advantage of that as well. And some of the pre-party planning that you could do is never go to a party being on that one, right? Always have a healthy snack before you go to the events so that you are able to think clearly. And some of the balanced snacks would be, if you have a toast, spread some peanut butter on it or almond butter on it, or have it with some hummus. So that's a simple snack. If you like Greek yogurt, have a cup of Greek yogurt with berries. If you have vegetables, you can have vegetables and nuts, or fruit with nuts. So those are some examples of healthy snacks. So always nourish yourself before you go to a party. You don't need to have a complete meal, but believe me, having a snack before you go to a party really helps you enjoy the party in such a way that you feel good after it, right? So that's the idea there. And something to never forget is to make sure that you sip water all through the day. Never forget drinking water during the day. And a very good tip here is, before you take that first bite, drink a glass of water. That will help you settle down, and it also helps you bring that mindfulness to that moment. If you happen to go for a buffet, there are many ways you can actually be mindful. You can choose a smaller plate so that you are able to control the portions. You can choose different colored plates if those are available. Research suggests that, if there is a color contrast between the plate and the food colors, we tend to eat less because of that. So something to experiment there with. And as I always say, even if you go to a buffet, fill your plate with salads and vegetables first, protein, and then finally small portions of those treats that you really want to enjoy, right? And during these times, it's very, very, very important to balance, that wellness and joy. Never saying no to the treats. Always select your treats, right? Select your treat choices. Homemade goodies are far, far, far tastier than store-bought ones. So, definitely if you are going to bake, look for healthier versions. But if you have a recipe that is traditional in your home, you don't have to even swap it. Have your nourishing meal and then enjoy your goodies. And then do not forget to move. Have some active time after your meals. Having games planned ahead will help you boost your mood and also help your body get that movement. Practicing yoga, some deep breathing. We do have Thrival classes right after the new year, right? So come for those classes so that you're able to reduce your stress. And then set realistic goals. Never say that I'm not going to touch that cookie, because you know what? That's not realistic, right? So enjoy your cookie, but make sure that you nourish yourself well, and always ask for support from your friends or the groups that you go to, right? We do have that Diva and Dude get together on December the 28th in the afternoon. We are a group of friends who really support each other. So come and enjoy that time. So, but you will have a set of friends who will really support you during that time. But set realistic goals. So, this holiday season, cherishing the joyful connections. May you have moments of joy and connection. With that said, I'm going to take you through the recipe for today. Today's recipe is cinnamon pecan energy bites. What do we have here? It comes together in less than 5 minutes, although I have mentioned there 10 minutes. It has half a cup of medjool dates. I bought it from HEB, the Healthy Living aisle. I just chopped it into small pieces. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Where is my peanut butter? Yeah, there it is. I bought a small peanut butter packet. Yes, it's there. It's a good snack too, right? If you have apples, it's very easy to put it in your bag as you're driving and put a packet of this. So I got this one so that I can be mindful about I don't have to buy a big peanut butter and then not know what to do with it. So I have 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, some vanilla here, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. There is going to be 1 cup of pecans. This again I got from HEB. You can lightly roast it. When you roast it, the taste goes to a different level. So something for you to experiment when you make it at your home. Half a cup of quick oats. So I have here oats, and then 1/8 teaspoon of salt to bring out the flavor, and then 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. And my divas know me really well that I cannot stick to a recipe. So I do have hemp seeds, some cacao powder, which you can choose to add, or you can melt some chocolate and add to it after the fact. And I do have some hemp seeds here. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to be a little different this time, and hopefully I can measure things out. Or do I need to? Maybe yes. Let me measure things out. Going to wipe it dry, and there you go. And then the half cup. Where is the half cup? There is the half cup. So I'm going to start with half cup of dates. Okay, half cup of dates. There is a little bit left. Dates are Mother Nature's gift of sweetness. Dates are high in potassium, high in fiber, and very, very, very yummy. So in this particular recipe, there is no added sugar at all. Added sugar meaning, the white sugar or the brown sugar or agave or molasses. Molasses is okay too, right? But there is no added sugar. It's Mother Nature's fruit by itself. I'm going to add the peanut butter. I just have to squeeze it in. So there it goes. Creamy peanut butter. Peanut butter has healthy fats. And who doesn't like creamy, right? So add the creamy peanut butter in. Okay. And then half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. There it is. Half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then, yeah, I'm just going to pulse the dates, peanut butter and vanilla in the food processor until a paste forms. So I have a 4-cup food processor here. It's a small one. I'm going to give it a nice grind. Little bit more. Can you smell it? Yeah, there is vanilla smell that's coming out of it. I'm going to just place it inside this bowl and then take care of the remaining ingredients and then put this back in. So it's become like a semi-paste form. Going to put this back and then add pecans, all the remaining ones, right? Pecans. I got the mammoth pecan halves, but any pecan.
You can buy the chopped ones.
Yes, chopped ones too, no problem at all. So a cup of pecans.
And you said you can roast them, right?
Yes, when you roast them, there is more vanilla-y flavor in it, I think. So I'm going to finish it all off. So there is probably 1.5 cups here. So all of it goes in. Yes, yummy, yummy, yummy. And oats is 1/4 cup. So 1/4 cup of oats, just the rolled oats. I'm not going to put all of it because it won't come together well. So 1/4 cup. And then the chia seeds, 1 tablespoon, right? 2 tablespoons.
Tablespoons of
Chia seeds.
And an eighth of a
Teaspoon of salt, right? Yeah. Chia seeds. Eighth of a teaspoon of salt. I have 1/4 here, so I will take, where is my, there it is.
Okay.
Sometimes your eyes play tricks. The salt is to just bring out all the flavor. And what did I forget? Cinnamon? Yes. How much of cinnamon? 1/2 teaspoon. And a little bit more of cinnamon won't hurt you, right? So 1/2 teaspoon. You can be generous with the cinnamon. Cinnamon brings out that sweetness that you want. Yeah, and then if you have cardamom, you can put that too. I saw cardamom in HEB Healthy Living, so you can pick a little bit of cardamom if you want. That's another spice that that's not sweet, but it has that aroma that brings that sweetness basically. Okay, so that, and then as I mentioned before, I have some cacao powder here. So I'm going to, who doesn't like chocolate, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so I'm going to, yeah, it's not in there, but you can add it. Chocolate powder or cacao powder. And what else? Yeah, and I do have some hemp seeds. Hemp seeds have healthy fats, minerals, vitamins, and they have a nutty flavor. I love them. So it's not there in the recipe, you can add it. I'm going to add a tablespoon of hemp seeds, and that's it. I'm going to pick up water just in case if I need it for the consistency. Because if it doesn't come together, you can add a little bit of water, right? So if I read on, in a separate bowl, combine pecans, oats, chia seeds, cinnamon, add to the food processor and pulse until fine crumbs form. And then I'll add the date paste and pulse until the dough forms. You can add a bit of warm water if the dough is crumbly. Texture will depend on the freshness of the dates. You ready? Let's do it. Let's do it. Just going to give it a small mix together. And you can use any nuts. This is pecans, you can use almonds, you can use mixed nuts, you can use macadamia. Each will be different taste, different flavor, and different nutritional profile. Yes. Instead of pecans, you can add any other nut you like. Even if it's, it will be yum. So I feel like I can add the date and the peanut butter paste that's on the side. And I definitely feel I need to add a little bit of water so that it can all come together. And then, it's not a baking recipe. It'll never go, the other side. Going to add a little bit of water. Tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of water. There is a little more of pecans in this batch. So, little bitty more of patience. Maybe cause tad a bit more. So that it can become doughy, and then we can have small orbs. Yeah, I can make small orbs out of this. And you ready? Yes. Let's do it. So there is your cinnamon pecan energy bites. You can make it into small orbs. Yeah, you did. Oh yeah, totally go for it. That's how it comes. So make it at home, enjoy your holidays, And may this holiday season bring you moments of joy and connection. Thank you very much for coming today. Enjoy these holiday energy bites.